start. Hey everybody, good morning, good Tuesday morning. Well, first of all, I just want to start out by saying thanks to everyone who has taken the time to watch my videos and who has taken the time to comment and follow me. Subscribe to my YouTube or follow me here on Facebook. I want to address something. I do from time to time get a negative comment, and everybody that is on social media that's public, on any kind of public forum, will from time to time get some negativity. And it's okay when it's constructive criticism, when someone is saying, you know, I disagree with your opinion or something of that nature. That's perfectly fine. I had someone make a comment on the YouTube video that I posted the other night. The one that I posted of the house, about talking about CMC getting this house, and I'll get into a little bit more of that here just in a minute. But this person said, wow, some people really can't tell a story. Well, I have news for you, brother or sister or whatever you identify as. You've really not met too many storytellers in your life. I think I do a pretty good job at spinning a yarn, if you want to call it that. The people that follow me, the people that have been following me for the last couple of years on YouTube and Facebook know that I talk about narcissism, and this person was definitely a narcissist. They wrote like they wrote like 3 paragraphs of basically just criticism of my speaking, of my telling a story, talking. Who are you talking about? I was supposed to explain who, how, why. Well, the people that follow me already know. They know that I talk about people such as CMC and other scammers and con artists and narcissists and grifters and people who take advantage of other people. And I'm sorry that this person stumbled upon my channel, or maybe they were sent to my channel. Maybe they intentionally came to my channel to say what they couldn't say on Facebook, because I limit, you know, a lot of my Facebook videos are friends only or followers only. But anyway, I just said back to the person, you know, you're a little ray of nobody gives a crap, you know. You really wasted your time writing this entire life sentence because I didn't really even finish reading it all. But I just wanted people to know, if I talk about someone other than Scammy or someone other than whoever I talk about, I will let people know if I'm speaking about somebody different. The reason I didn't go into detail and say, okay, this video is about Crystal Collins from Jackson, Kentucky, etc. and so on, is because most of the time I only post videos about her to Facebook. And everybody who follows me on Facebook basically came to me from the awareness pages. And that's how people found me and started to listen to me. There are some on YouTube who were following me before, who were following me for my narcissism chats. And it's all basically narcissism when you boil it down, because that's what she is. So, you know. Sorry, I was letting traffic pass. But I just wanted to address that. And if people feel the need to criticize or to, you know, put you in your place, so to speak, let you know that you're not. You know, I don't make these videos for money. I don't have enough followers to get monetized. I have no intentions of ever doing that or worrying about that. If that were to ever happen and I all of a sudden overnight had like 2,000 followers, they were like, here you go, I'd be like, sure, of course, you know. Who would say no to money for doing a job, you know? That's the difference between people who go start a YouTube channel or a Facebook page or something of that nature, and it falls upon them that people take an interest in them, and they have enough followers and viewers and views that they can become monetized. Then you have people who can't get enough, so they take advantage of that. I think for the most part, if people like CMC or Exposure Room or any of these other people suddenly had enough followers and enough viewers, and they were, making content, making videos, doing lives where they were getting paid, I think for the most part people would just be okay with that. But it's when you add in what their content is about. The people that, I'm just using Exposure Room as an example. She's not the only one. There have been others throughout the time I have been on here talking about this and being a part of these awareness groups and stuff. There have been several others who've made pages that have taken off and have gotten to the point that they started earning money at it. The people that started following CMC to expose her and to let other people become aware of what she was doing, they never had any intentions of becoming monetized. It wasn't about that for them. And if that was offered to them, some of those people turned it down. And they became angry and upset because others didn't. And they wanted to say, you shouldn't be making money from CMC. You shouldn't be making money talking about her. And because you're supposed to be doing it to bring awareness to the people that she's taking advantage of. And then you factor in these super chats and these giveaways and these, I was this morning came upon this screenshot, this long screenshot after screenshot of this conversation between Curry, they call her, from Exposure Room, and one of her people. I don't know how old this was. I don't know if this was last year. I'm assuming it was around Christmas because they were talking about Christmas presents and stuff. Basically, you kind of start picking up on the fact that this other woman is talking about CMC. Did you see her last night? But Curry, and I'm just calling her that because this is what people have currently started knowing her as, instead of saying her actual name, which I'm not sure if that's her name or not, but anyway, she's just going on and on about herself and about her car problems and her car getting sideswiped and then the radiator going bad, and she's just continuing to go on and talk about herself and her needs and the things that's going on with her. And this other person is trying to sway the subject back to the content that they're supposed to be making, about CMC and their lives and what they're going to talk about. And then it's all about money. And it starts to come out and you start to see what's really going on there. Well, she became one of the people who was do unto others as you would tell others not to do. You know what I mean? Like she was telling everybody, she was doing all these lives about CMC and going on about how CMC was swindling people and conning people out of their money and making up stories and lies and getting people to send her money and, abusing substances, using that money for that purpose. But just like I will say about CMC and her people, her ATMs, it's not anybody else's place to pay for your car repairs. My vehicle needs some work done on it right now. I don't ask any of you all to send me money to have car repairs done. I wouldn't accept it. I've had people offer to send me money when I might have been talking about having a struggle with some bills or something like that, but I've never taken money from anybody. When I talk about that stuff, when I talk about hard times financially and that type of thing, it's not because I'm trying to hint to anybody. I'm just letting people know that we're all in this boat, We're all rowing, trying to, get above these debts, trying to get above these food prices, trying to get above these gas prices. We're all dealing with it. And sometimes we have things that pop up out of the blue, like you might need a car repair, your hot water heater, your refrigerator, your washer and your dryer, your air conditioner. Gosh, how many other things did CMC have break down? Her teeth. And like I said, I made a video recently where I talked about people who had to resort to help, asking others for help. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't see a thing wrong with it when you are down, when you have exhausted all other possibilities. When you're working, you're struggling, and you just finally come to a head and you say, maybe there's somebody out there who would be willing to help me. Maybe a small loan, or maybe just to donate to this so that I can get up on my feet, get things lined out, and then I will do my best to repay them or pay it forward. And there's nothing wrong with that once in a while. But when that becomes a lifestyle, when that becomes your source of income, and then you see people like, okay, I'm comparing myself right now, and I'm not trying to put myself above anybody else, but I'm comparing what happened to me to what happened to some of these people. I was talking a while back about I'm going to have to either buy a new battery for my car, or, I had an appointment to have my hair done, and I wanted to go get my hair done because it'd been a while, but I was not going to sit at home without a battery. So I had to make the decision which one's more important. And of course, my car battery was going to come first. Had it been medication, had it been my tooth getting worked on, had it been anything else that I would deem more important, the car battery would have fallen to second or third or whatever, But I chose, and I was talking about that, just, talking about how people sometimes have to make these decisions, and you have to have priorities. And I had a lady come into my inbox, someone who has been in contact with me and friends on social media now for a couple of years, and she just told me, I want to be able to help you out. I see you're struggling, I see you're trying, you're not trying to just like play anybody, so let me send you a little bit of money so you can go get your hair done. And I thanked her, and it really touched me, and it made me feel really good to know that people are concerned about other people. But I told her, no, I will not take any money, but I do appreciate the offer. And, if it were something like a starving to death belly growling or something like that, then I might say, okay, you know what? You order some groceries from Walmart in my town, and I'll go pick them up. But not to the point that I would be like, oh, great, I'm going to get to go get my hair done now, There are others out there, and all these other people that are being monetized, and all these other people that's pages took off, and they started getting all these followers and doing these little skits and putting on little plays and going on tours and walking around with their phone and taking people to show them parts of the town. And people would say, here, let me send you some money. Let me send you some money so you can go get some food. Let me send you some money so you can go on another trip. Let me send you some money. And they were like, okay, sure, And many of them didn't do it to be mean or to con anybody or to hurt anybody. People were offering, and they were like, okay, sure. This will help my page. I can use this money, and I could go on another little vacation trip, and I can take my phone, I can show people around the town, or I can, buy things to give to other people. It's like gift-aways and that type of stuff. Excuse me. But my allergies are outrageous right now. And as I get closer to the town and they have all these trees and stuff out along the sidewalks, it just gets worse. But when it's a constant, woe is me, my car's tore up, my lights got turned off because I couldn't pay my electric bill, this, that, and the other, and then people were sending and sending, and then you come to find out, they were kind of under the influence, and it became more and more visible and more noticeable, and people started, well, like, you know, that's not really what they were doing with that money, and we were all just being lied to, taken advantage of. But then again, you have to say to yourself, who forced you to send them money? You know, after the second or third screenshot of this, I'm asking myself, why does this woman keep sending her $50, sending her $300, whatever it was that she would ask for? This woman would send it, and then there were some screenshots where she would say, you know, I got paid, I want to pay you back. How much do I owe you? $200, $300, and this woman would be like, just keep it and give it away as one of the giveaways, or give it, or whatever. And I'm like, lady, are you dense? Where are people getting all this friggin' money? Because I'm telling you, every penny I've got, every penny that I make, every penny that I get, every dime is budgeted, and it goes to pay bills, and it goes to buy food, and it goes to buy gas for my car, and it goes to buy things that I need for my own self, you know. I'm just like, where are people getting all this money from? I don't know. I don't know. I know people work, and some people make really good money, but I've got a friend right now. She and her husband are both professionals in their jobs, and they both earn a really good amount of money between the two of them. They earn enough to live really well and do the things that they want to do. They, you know, and they help out their children, and they help out people, and they donate to their church and stuff like that. But they're not stupid, and they, you know, they budget their money, and they say, you know, we want to be able to go on a trip, so we're going to budget our money this month so that next month we will have extra, and we can, you know, go on this trip or do whatever. So they're not just spending it like gangbusters, you know, just like throwing it around in the air. And even if you do earn a good living, you know what? That's your labor. That's your labor. Whether you sit at a desk and have a nice air-conditioned office and everything is comfy, and you've got a big comfortable office chair to sit in, and you have assistants and helpers to do part of your work for you, or whether you are out here climbing a tower and climbing poles and helping people restore their electricity, whether you're a mechanic, a nurse, a school teacher, a laborer, whether you stand beside the road holding up a sign, a flag, or whether you are like me and you do in-home caregiving to the elderly, and some days you do nothing but sit and maybe fix some food and carry it, maybe do a little light house cleaning, maybe run some errands. And other patients that you have, you are breaking your back, lifting them, bathing them, washing their netherlands, you know, and cleaning feeding tubes and cleaning bags of bodily fluids that I won't talk about anymore. But you know, it's regardless of what you do for a living, it's your labor, it's your money, you've earned it. And yeah, people will say, well, yeah, you're right about that. It is my money, I did earn it, and if I want to give it to Krusty or to Curry or to any of the other people on the internet, I will. Well, okay, fine and dandy, go do that, but then why feel the need to tell everybody about it? Why feel the need to say, well, look here, I was sending her my money willingly, but now I'm mad at her, so I'm going to tell the whole world about all the money that I sent her that she didn't force me to send her. She wasn't holding a, you know, bang bang to my head or anything like that. So why tell the rest of the world that you're now, like, you know, she's a piece of crap because she begged and bummed me out of money and made up lies and some woman over here waving at me, and I don't even know who she is. She probably thinks I'm somebody else, or maybe she thinks I'm crazy. But anyway, you guys, I just, it galls at me to see people like, okay, pick your battles. Pick your battles. If you make the choice to donate or give or gift or reward somebody money, it doesn't matter whether they are begging you and bombing you for it and putting you on the spot, making you feel like you have to, or whether you do it out of the kindness of your heart, the generosity and giving. You made that decision. You pressed those buttons. You either took that money cash and handed it to them hand to hand, or you pushed those buttons on your PayPal or Cash App or Facebook or whatever. You can't then turn around and say, well, you know, you piece of crap, how dare you use my money to go out and spend it on pizzas and you know, whatever, when you told me you were using it for something else. Yes, that is fraud, and yes, that is a scam, and yes, they should be held accountable, and yes, they should be exposed, and people should be made aware of it. But I think my donation limit is one time. I'm going to help somebody out. Okay, this person over here is struggling. They're having a hard time. You know, like this past weekend, I gave my little nephew some money so that he could go to a fair and have some fun and buy some cotton candy and that type of stuff. You know, that was my decision. I took the money out of my pocket and said, here, go have some fun. He's 9 years old. Go enjoy your day, you know, have some fun. And nobody said to me, you know, he's not going to be able to buy pizza. He's not going to be able to buy soft drinks. He's not going to be able to ride the rides if somebody doesn't give him some money. And I could have given him the money and said, here, you know, go use it at the fair. And he could have taken it to the dollar store and bought $9 worth of candy, or $10 worth of candy, or whatever it was, you know. And then I would have been mad about that. I would have said, how dare you spend your money, my money, on candy when I wanted you to go spend it on cotton candy? How dare you? But people, what I'm getting at in this long rant and raving and twisting and turning, some people see an opportunity to scam and con and defraud others. That's their nature, that's who they are, and if they're on substances, if they're an abusive, addicted substance abuser, then they're going to take every opportunity handed to them to lie, make up stories to get people to send them money. They don't come on there and say to people, you know what, my neighbor up the road here has got 20 pains, and I can get them today for like, will you give me the money? You know, I'm going to run down there and buy these so I can come home and have a good time tonight, you know. You're going to say, hell no, I'm not giving you no money to go buy pain away. You know what I mean? I'm not giving you money to go buy that kind of stuff. How dare you? So instead, they tell people, well, you know, my hot water heater tore up, or, you know, I've got to pay this bill, or they're going to cut my lights off by tonight at 5 p.m. because Tyler Booth is in concert tonight, and I got to go and buy 4 t-shirts and 6 corn dogs. You know, or 60 corn dogs, or however many the hell it was she bought. And people are like, okay, sure, I'll give you money for that, but I won't give you money to go buy that. So they're going to say, okay, I'm going to buy 3 corn dogs and 1 t-shirt, and then I'm going to go over here and buy my pain-aways, you know. And you're sitting at home with your mouth dropped open because how dare they take advantage of your kindness and your generosity, that you were willing to give them money, and then you find out they took advantage of me, they lied to me, I'm not going to ever give them money again, but then you do. So you are no longer a victim, you are a willing participant at that point. By the second or third go around, when you realize that they're lying to you, making up shit to get money for their own purposes, and you're continuing to give it to them, then you're a willing participant. You're no longer a victim. You can't come to the groups and say, look here, look how they took advantage of me all those times. People, we all have common sense. Well, most people have common sense. Some of us, it might take a little bit longer. And believe me, I know about being hoodwinked. I know about being scammed. I know about being lied to and falling for people's lies. Because it happened to me with the narcissist. I believed everything that I was being told. I was being groomed, and I was being love bombed, and I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. And then it took me a while to figure it out. And then I did figure it out, and I didn't want anything to do with that person anymore. And that's when I started telling everybody here on YouTube and Facebook about their behavior, because I wanted to make other people aware of that. You may already have been aware of it, but I just wanted to give people my take on it, you know. But there are these things called red flags, and I felt those red flags during my beginning of time with this guy. I noticed little things that I thought were inconsistent. I picked up on little fibby inconsistencies in his stories, and sometimes I let him slide, and other times I would kind of question him, but he always had a good explanation, and he always made it seem like that I was pressuring him, so I would back off. I would be like, well, you know, I'm not going to cause an argument where there doesn't need to be one, because, you know, I just need to learn to trust him more and you know, believe in him. And here's another thing that he did. CMC does it. Curry does it. Every person on the internet, if you watch, regardless of what they're up to or what they're doing, they are a victim. Everybody has mistreated them in their lifetime. They've gone through hell. They've lived this horrible life. They've been lied to, cheated, mistreated. And you come along and they make you feel like you're the only person. You're the only person that believes in me. You're the only person that's ever shown me any kindness or generosity. You're the only person who takes me for my word. And you don't want to, like, all of a sudden start saying, I don't believe what you're selling here, you know. I don't believe what you're telling me here. Because then you become one of those people. You become one of their tormentors. But you eventually start listening to that little voice in your head. You eventually start listening to the voices of all the other people who have tried to warn you time and time again. And eventually it comes to you and it clicks. And sadly for some people it comes after they have been taken for everything, after they've been taken for a fool, after they have given up their jobs, their homes, their towns, and moved away to be with these people, after they have given money time and time and time again, after they have had children with this person and married them and are now in debt with them and in a position where they find it hard to stand on their own. Sadly, many people don't figure it out until then. And then you have to live with your decisions. Not once did she ever say to anybody, you know what, guys? I owe thousands and thousands and thousands and more thousands of dollars to the state of Kentucky, to my 2 children that I gave birth to and abandoned, due to the fact that I chose substances over them. Now, I know there's a good many people out there who have fallen victim to substance abuse. And there are some out there who choose it blatantly and will never even try. My brother-in-law is one of those people. He flat out just refuses to say, I will ever quit drinking. I don't care what I lose in this life. I don't care if my children never speak to me again. I don't care if I've lost girlfriend and wife and girlfriend and wife, and they don't want anything to do with me. I don't care if I live in a shack. I don't care if other people have to bring me food because I spend all my money on alcohol. I don't care. I'm going to get drunk. And if I can find a way to get to the liquor store, I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to buy beer. My neighbors will take me. They'll loan me money. I'll cut somebody's weeds and get paid and make enough money to buy me a 30-pack of beer. That's all he cares about. And he's been an alcoholic and a drunk for 40 years. And he does not make any excuses for it. He doesn't lie to anybody and say, hey, I got to pay my power bill. Can you loan me $30? He will just flat out say, I want to go get me some beer. I'll work for you and earn it, or you can give it to me and I'll pay you back when I get my check. Or maybe I won't and I'll just go buy more beer. But he's honest about it. He's an honest drunk, But then others will live in denial to the public. They know what they're doing. They know what they want the money for. They're not denying it to themselves, but they're denying it to everybody else. And that's just the way that it is. And that's, there are people who struggle every day. They wake up and they say, God, please keep me from getting high today. Please help me to stay clean. Please help me to not fall into my old ways. Please, Lord, let me stay clean. Let me do the work that I need to put in, go to my meetings and stay clean and work and spend time with people that are good for me. Don't let me go to those dark alleys and to those back rooms and to those places. And they struggle with it. And sometimes they fall back and they have to start back again. Sometimes some of them do and sometimes some of them don't. And some of them don't make it. Some of them do make it, and they make it so great. They work so hard to put all that behind them and to tell people. And they don't sit and deny it. They know that the only way to really be clean and stay clean and live a clean life is to say to people, look, I was hustling. I was out there selling whatever I had to sell, including myself if that was what it took. I was lying and stealing and cheating my family members, my children, anybody that it took that I could get a dollar bill or a nickel to get my fix. And I was low and I was seedy and I was, they have to take ownership and accountability. They can't sit there and say, well, you guys, I had a problem. The addiction that I had, the things that I used to take. That's not how an addict speaks when they are in recovery. They say, I am an addict and I will always be an addict. I have to work every day not to use. But she doesn't do that. Go back and watch her live from last night. 4/24, April the 24th. She's on there last night. She's talking about the stuff she used to do, the addiction that she had. She's only been clean, she says, for 10 months. Was that she was only using benzos and pot. And she was addicted to pot. Come on, people, give me a fucking break. Does anybody here believe that she was addicted to pot? Do we still believe that people are addicted to pot? I mean, I don't know. Some people maybe do become addicted to pot. I don't know. I used to smoke a lot of pot in my day. I used to smoke a lot of pot back in the day. It wasn't like we were going, oh my gosh, somebody get me into rehab right away. And I'm not here to make fun of anybody that needs to go to rehab. If you need to go to rehab, go. Get some help. Go find some help. It's not so easy for somebody to just run and jump into a rehab. You can't just go say, here I am, sign me in. Most of the time you have to get a bed. You have to get approved. You have to have the money to pay for it, or your insurance, or maybe you get like her and go to jail, and then you get sent to a counselor and a doctor's office and drug testing based on the probation. So if you're not willing to go back to jail, you don't want to violate your probation, you will show up for your P test, you will show up for your counseling sessions, and if they send you to the Suboxone clinic, you show up for that too. Maybe she didn't deny she was on Suboxone, but was talking about the withdrawals from Suboxone being worse than withdrawals from other stuff, and she said, well, I don't know anything about that. She's still denying it. She's still flipping denying it? How can you say I'm clean and I know that I'm in recovery if you don't even know the language to use? You know? But I just wanted to point that out. And I want to say one more thing. Sometimes from time to time, I make little comments that I pick up on little things that people say. And I do that because I want to defend my home. I want to defend Eastern Kentucky. I want to defend this place as a people. Because not everybody is like her, and not everybody is like what we get portrayed as. Someone made a comment last night, and they were talking about her getting this home, this trailer. And I'm going to make a separate video about that. But they were talking about her getting this trailer, and somebody said maybe she's doing that because she needs an address so that she can go sign up for SSI. And then they started debating that. And one person said, well, she probably wouldn't qualify because she has earned, she doesn't have enough hours turned in at a real job to earn to get Social Security. But the fact that she is able to work at Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and making reels and making TikTok videos and all this other stuff she gets monetized for and gets paid for, and these supporters, that would be considered income. And she would have to prove to the courts and to the Social Security Administration that she's unable to do that anymore. That she has some type of disability that prevents her from doing that. And some people said that, and I kind of picked up on that the other night, that she said, Facebook is just for fun. I don't do it for money. Well, we all know that that has not been the truth for the last couple of years, because every other word out of her mouth was, I work for Facebook, it's my job. Remember when the cops came to the door and told her, maybe you should just get off of the internet for a while. Well, that's my job. Am I supposed to not do my job because some other person is threatening me or calling in these false claims? How many of you have ever gone to your job, to work, regardless of what you do for a living, and had the cops called on you because somebody was saying that you were doing something illegal at your job, you know? So those videos will stand as testimony that she claimed that to be her job. So in order for her to not to be able to get disability, she would have to say something has occurred that she can no longer do that job. She can no longer talk. She can no longer maintain physically or mentally the ability to do that. And then somebody's going to send these videos and these reels and things into the government and say, look, you know, here she is. Here she is. She's on TikTok right now talking up a storm, and she can't make money at it, even though she's getting paid. Which I want people to also keep in mind. You can receive Social Security and even SSI and still work and get supplement, you know, a supplement income. But someone said this last night on there, and I just wanted to kind of, someone said it's really easy to get on SSI in Kentucky. All you have to do is say you're an addict and boom, you get your check. Well, no, that's not true. You just got done hearing me talk about my brother-in-law who's been an alcoholic for probably 40 years. He worked as a carpenter. He worked for a company that laid gymnasium floors in high schools and different things like that. And he did pay into Social Security, and he did work. Part of his lifetime he worked. He lived in another state for about 3 or 4 years, and he worked in a factory. And I think it was some kind of farm good way. When he became, a few years ago, about 8 or 10 years ago, he became disabled with his shoulder. He suffered an injury, and he had to have 2 surgeries done on his shoulder. Well, now keep in mind he was still an alcoholic. So they told him for what you would draw, for what you've worked, what earnings you've made in your life, you would be better off getting on SSI because you're going to earn even less Social Security by the time they cut it out for your Medicare. So that's what he did. He applied for Social Security, or SSI. And it took him about 6 or 7 years to get on his SSI, even though he was sitting there unable to really even use his shoulder that well. He had one surgery. He ended up having to have a second surgery. And right now he can move his arm only to a certain degree. But it took him about 6 or 7 years to get on SSI. And he did, but he did tell them that he did drink heavily and that he did use alcohol and that he did consider himself to be an alcoholic. He had to tell that to the doctors when they went to do his surgeries, because he had to, they would say to him, don't drink, don't drink, because you're going to be on medication, you're going to be under anesthesia. When we put you under to have your surgery, you're going to be under anesthesia. Don't drink none for a day or two before you come. So they were aware that he had an alcohol problem, but he didn't get his SSI like that. So sometimes I do feel the need to kind of defend my homeland and my homies, But anyway, that's just me, and that's just me, pointing out that we're not all like CMC. We're not all scammers and bums and beggars, and we don't all have dirty yards, and we don't all let the dogs poop in our living room floor and don't pick it up, and that's just, I'm going to move on now. I didn't mean for this video to run so long. I just wanted to point that out to that one person who made that comment on my YouTube. If you don't like something that somebody says, just, say, well, I'm not really interested in this, and move on. If you're not really into the content that they're putting out, or you don't understand it, you can either sit and listen, go back and watch some of the other videos that I've made, or you can move on. If you're trying to goad me and trying to get into this battle back and forth on my YouTube and trying to, win applause from people, you're not going to do it on my channel, because I don't take part in that pettiness. I'm not into the name calling and the back and forth and the screenshots and the, I'll beat you and you can beat me and we can battle it out. You just pick the wrong person, Because there's so much else in life that we struggle with, that fighting and bickering with some stranger on the internet is not in my wheelhouse. It's not on my list of things to do, And I just wanted to say, I'm going to talk a little bit about CMC and her home and my thoughts on that, and some stuff that has come to light since I made that last video. And everybody, I'm sorry this video ran long. I appreciate y'all for sticking around if you did. And if you didn't, I understand that. You got shit to do. Have a nice day.